Hello, 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 and welcome. I am Sherry Hemstreet, your favorite mentor, and favorite money mentor. And today we are diving into the six-figure formula, going deeper than yesterday. If you need access to day one's replay, of course, let me know below and we will get it for you. But today we are diving deep into the next level. We are taking what we covered yesterday and then moving it into a space so you can actually see where things are not working and what has been keeping you from six figures, because the most important part of a business is generating the income and the profits to get you to six figures. Because when you do that, you can actually start maximizing your business and then begin to scale, right? So there's a lot of things that need to happen to get to six figures. And we've covered that. I've covered that in many other trainings. But here's the thing. When you are getting to six figures, everybody kind of does this thing where they're like, all right, I want to make 10K a month, right? Like, because 10, yeah, I can't speak. 10K a month is the goal. And they're like, okay, I want to get to 10K a month. And the thing is, they will start following people all over the internet, asking for their lead magnets, asking for their help, asking for their freebies. And they're not really thinking of past 10K. And when you build a business forward rather than backward, you will hit a wall. You'll hit a space where the business no longer works. So what does this look like? So when you are building a business forward, as so many do when they are starting out and getting to 10K, the goal is 10K, but the goal isn't 10K, right? The first goal is 10K. Let's be so for real here, right? Like, business freedom really starts at 20 to 25K. 10K is a very, very nice business. It is a business that will let you breathe. It will give you relief. It will give you momentum and motivation and excitement, and it will start creating the impact you're here to make. But it's not where you end. It's not the end of it all, right? It's really not. So the thing that we want to look at there is that, oh no, I'm not sure what happened there. Let me see. Okay. Let's try this again, shall we? Is that, no, that didn't work. Oh, there we are. Okay. I have no idea what happened there, but so when we are getting to 10K, we build a business, right? And it's a lot of different things. It's a lot of different moving parts. But what it looks like when you build a business forward to 10K, there comes a point, and I'm sure you've all heard this before. Give me like a heads up, a hands up if you've heard this before. What got you here won't get you there, right? And I felt this so much because this happens when you build a business that is not capable of scale. And so many people do this because they are a service provider, they are a coach, they have a program, they have an offer, they have a membership, they have something, and it doesn't have the structure or the structural capability of scale. Now, what is scale, right? Scale is leverage. So scale is reaching more, serving more, collecting more, right? Leverage is maximizing that reach. Leverage is minimizing output. And leverage is getting the maximum benefit from the smallest output. So what people do is they're in a race to 10K. Pardon me. They start offering all the things. Let me know below if you've done this. All the things. Just drop all the things, right? Because all the things are what it takes to get to 10K. So you think, right? And there's two mindsets here. I'm going to cover them both. So when you are getting to 10K and you start dropping all the things, you start doing all the things, what happens is you start making offers, new offers all the time. because you think that new offers are going to reach more people so you can serve more people, so you can collect more income, so you can be more profitable, so you can get to 10K, right? And that kind of makes sense, but it doesn't work. And you may know this because you may have done it and you probably felt it. The other way, right, is that you're throwing spaghetti at the wall and you're offering all these offers. The other way is to offer one thing and just try to reach more and more and more people to get to 10K. And what happens is all of the other people, because your audience consists of a lot of people and your email list consists of a lot of people, all of the people who aren't going to buy, which is most of them, 97% of your audience isn't going to buy with this model, right? And so when you have one offer, you are completely sifting through the haystack. You are literally looking for the golden needle in a haystack to find those 3 people out of every 100 that want that exact offer. Now, I know a lot of the gurus are like, you need one offer and you need to offer it for 1 year and you need to do this and do that. And, like the more you do it, the easier it gets. Sure, that is absolutely true. The more you make one offer, the more you understand the marketing. Now, remember, marketing is when my business fell apart. The more I tried marketing and doing it right, doing it how the guru said, the harder it got to make money because I sounded like everyone. And even when I didn't sound like everyone knew exactly what was going on. And the thing is, when they already understand from a marketing perspective, the ego steps in and says, oh, we already know that. That's not our problem. That's not what we need. The ego will do that. That's the ego's job, is to make you superior despite the logical evidence and facts of data that you don't have what you want yet. It's a very sneaky little sucker, right? So that is part of the problem with having one offer, is you completely ignore 97% of your audience. That's a lot of money to leave on the table. Now, when I did this, when I tried offering one offer, because yes, I tried this. Yes, I did. I know. I was so bored to offer it again. I would have rather gouged my eyes out. I got so bored offering it again. And then here's what happens. Here's what happens when you offer one thing and you do it over and over and over. Every time you do it, you lose nuance. Every time you do it, the first couple of times are probably the best times, but then as you do it, these things become so normalized to you and so ingrained with you that you lose the nuance and it doesn't become as potent as it was. The first 3 or 4 times you ever run anything are going to be the most potent, absolutely most potent thing they are. Because what happens? Like, tell the same story, right? When you tell the same story over and over and over, as you tell this story, you start leaving out the small parts. You start condensing it. You start maximizing it. You start making it more potent. You start getting the important parts in. And when you do that, what happens? All the nuance, all the little pieces and nooks and crannies of that story get eliminated because you consider them inconsequential. Now, does the audience need those? Quite possibly. Quite possibly. And those are the things that, and you will see this in the gurus, the further away they get from what they teach and where they were, the nuance is lost in many cases. And this is where you work with a guru and they got great results, and other people will get some results, but across the board, you're probably not going to get the same results depending on how new you are or where you are. And it's because all of these little nuance pieces are lost, right? And so it's a gap in where you are versus where they are, and their ability to articulate and take you through that process without losing nuance, without losing structure, without losing the substance that could be missed. Because something happens as an expert. As an expert, we absolutely become so normalized. And you recognize this within yourself. It becomes so normal. What you do becomes so normal. What you do is so like second nature to you that you take it for granted. You discount it. You're like, oh, people know how to do this. People understand they need X, Y, and Z before this even happens. People understand that these two little pieces support this structure of the process. No, people don't. See, what happens, we become so high level in our expertise that we let go of the granular. And it's all of those nooks and crannies and all of those granular pieces that make up the whole cookie, right? You can't have a cookie without a bunch of chocolate chips and all the little crumbles that make the cookie. And so that's why quite often you will see people work with really high level gurus and they won't get the results because the proximity, not only the proximity from you or them to the guru, right? Like how far away are they? But because quite often they'll have coaches, they'll have teachers, they'll have people in between them and you. But it's the proximity to where you were when they started and where you are now, and all of the pieces surrounding that, and the proximity to where you need to be to get where their program takes you. So there's a lot there to unpack, right? And we don't need to get in that. I just want to illustrate what that looks like. So quite often that's what happens. Now, when we're building this business, we do the same thing if we structure it that way, right? And that's what they tell us. They're like, build a big team, do this, do that. I built a big team. It cost me $15,000 a month to run my business before any of the bills were paid. That was just human labor. And that might not seem like a lot, right? But I had one assistant that was $5,000 a month, and the rest of the contracts were $10,000. It sucked. It sucked because I had to make that before any money that I made because my responsibility is to these contracts and to these people. So even if I didn't make money, which thank God I always did because that's just who I am, I would have to make these expenses before I could even take a draw on my business. Now, I would never do that again. In fact, I don't think I will ever have more than I have right now. Right now, I have 3, and that's because I have 3 for very specific reasons. I could probably get down to 1, to be honest. But I do love my team. They have been with me for 5 years now, and I probably wouldn't have it any other way. So that's my take on that. Like, I can make that happen. I can afford that now. It's very manageable. Everyone has their own job, and it kind of makes it easier for everyone to be that way. But I recommend a much more streamlined business. You could literally get to $1 million with only you and one person. And nobody wants to tell you that because there's no glamour in that, right? Because the profits are so exciting in that, because the margins are so minimal, right? But really, like, you want a business with big margins, profit margins, because that's the health level of your business. So when we are building these businesses, we're building forward. That's how most of us build. Even if we build backward, we're building backward from 10K. We're not building backward from up there because we don't know where up there is going to look like. So a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make 300,000 a year. I want to make 500,000 a year. Some people want to make 7 figures. All of those are up there, but we don't know what our business is going to look like there. So we can't structure it in a way between the 1 and 10K marker so that it is scalable. So what ends up happening is we see all of these business models, and all of these business models out there are just amazing, right? Everyone's like, you need a mastermind. Masterminds are so easy and you just make tons of money from them. And then everyone's like, you need a low-end product. Low-end products are where it's at. You will just make so much money from them. And then you're either stuck figuring out that it takes a long time to sell a mastermind at 25K minimum, right? And filling that without a huge ad spend is difficult, or without a huge audience of people who want what you have. And remember, at that level, we have 3% of buyers. We have one product, we have 3% of buyers. And so, we take that and we're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell something for 25K. And then it doesn't sell. Well, you sell one or two or three, but it's not the freedom that you wanted, because it takes a lot of effort to sell those three people, right? It takes a mindset for you to get into the space of selling 25K packages. There's a lot that goes into it, but let's just scale that back. Let's just say you only sold 10K packages, right? Okay, great. All you have to do is sell one of those a month. So that means you just have to talk to 100 people and make one sale. But you have to talk to 100 of the right people. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't hate sales calls because I love talking to people, solving problems, and everyone has a story. But sales calls, in my opinion, are a colossal waste of time. In fact, me and my business partner, Dana, who, if you've been with me for any amount of time, we were the first people in the industry to not do sales calls. We sold everything from a Google Doc or a link. That was it. Like, it looked like an opt-in landing page. There was that little copy on it. Or we would just sell it from a Facebook post. Here's what you get. Here's the price, right? So we didn't do sales calls. Like, how many times have you been stuck on a sales call that you're like, it's an hour. When am I getting off of this? How do I get this person to buy? That's not a sales call. That's prison, right? Drop prison if you've gone through that, because let me tell you, it's not fun. So when you are doing this, you're like, okay, so I'm going to sell something high ticket, right? Doesn't matter what the high ticket is. You have to get in front of so many people. And remember, only 3% are buying. So at 10,000, you can get 1 to 3 buyers, but you have to get in front of the right people. And that's going to take time. So in the meantime, once again, you're leaving all those 97 other people who have money, who have a problem. You're just leaving them out in the cold. You're leaving all that money on the table. And then the other problem, the other end of the spectrum is, right, you sell low ticket, and then you quickly realize you can't afford to live on low ticket. And you go into desperation, you go into hustle, you go into worry. Everything starts like going crazy. It doesn't feel good. You're stressed. In either way, you start over delivering. Whether you're at the high ticket level in that case or at the low ticket level in that case, you start over delivering because you think, if I just give more, if I just serve more, I can make more. And that will attract other people in too, right? And it doesn't work that way. You cannot outgive people enough so they will buy from you, right? We covered that yesterday in the value. You cannot get people to buy from you just from value, or from from value, right? So with that being the case, then you have positioned yourself. You're either high ticket or you're low ticket, or maybe you're mid ticket and you're like mid range. You're in the middle of it all. And that has its own problems, because there's like probably nothing harder than mid range, because mid range is where everyone is, because it's safe. Mid range is safe. I'm only going to charge this. And then when it doesn't sell, you start lowering your prices, because you're like, if I can just get a couple people in to see how good I am, I'll get the testimonials and it'll work. But it doesn't work that way. You, by lowering your prices, are now in a race to the bottom. And you cannot support a business that way, because your business has overhead, because your business needs to grow, because your business needs money to be reinvested in it. And that can't happen at a mid-range ticket level. So what you have is, you have this problem where, like, no matter which way you turn, you have business models that don't work. And so you're like, well, I'm going to sell a course, and I'm going to do group coaching, and I'm going to do one-to-one. That's great. So what happens there? Well, everybody tells you you need recurring income, right? Like monthly recurring income is the way to get out of this. And so you're like, I'm going to sell a course. It's going to be $2,000. They're going to pay me $100 a month. Fantastic. And then I'm going to sell private clients, and those will be my high ticket, and they'll pay me 800, 1,000 a month, right? Maybe more. It doesn't matter. We're just talking about whatever numbers you use, plug them in. And you're like, okay, if I sell a course and if I have private clients, then I can get the 6 figures. And what happens is because you want the monthly recurring income, you're like, all right, everybody can make payments and I will take a couple pay in fulls. So you get a couple pay in fulls. And what happens to the payments? You now have monthly recurring income, except you don't, because people are going to default. If you can get 6 payments out of someone on monthly recurring income, you are doing fantastic. People hate paying for things that they are already done using. People hate paying for things that are over. It no longer holds value to them, even if they got the value from it at one time. The further you get from that value, they want to reallocate those funds. So what happens to your monthly recurring income? It starts dropping off. People start defaulting. People stop paying. People ghost. People duck and dive out. Boom, they're gone. You're like, okay, so I still have my private clients. But what happens is you have all of this delivery. You have delivery to the group coaching, you have delivery to the course, you have delivery to the private clients. And each one of those is like running 3 separate businesses. This is why you get burned out. This is why you get tired. This is why you get mentally exhausted. This is why you get creatively exhausted and you're not getting the inspiration and the intuition that could take you forward and move your business forward. My business moved forward very quickly because I was able to access that higher level. I was able to answer spirit. I was able to move into inspiration. I was able to move into the call of intuition because I was already making 10K or more a month. So I didn't have the stress of figuring things out. Right now, the 6 years I didn't make that a month. We had the stress of figuring that out. Right. So don't think that I just went from like, where I am or where like, I just erupted on the scene making 6 figures. No, I spent 6 years not making 6 figures. So I get a very clear difference of what it is here and what it is there, what it's like not to make 6 figures and what it's like to make 6 figures. And so in that space, I had all of the space for creativity, all of the space for creation, all of the space for intuition, all of the space to access my higher truth, my higher self, and answer those calls. And because of that, I was able to create those things that would literally just fill my bank account. I mean, let's be real. I was able to have a double launch because I had the inspiration. I was able to have my first live in-person event because of the inspiration. It sold out because of the inspiration. I had a viral video where people bought tickets to come to my event and flew from Israel and India and all over the US with less than 6 weeks notice because of inspiration, because of intuition, because of my connection to source, my God, right? The creator. But when you are not at 6 figures, you don't have that space because you are in hustle, you are in worry. And when you're in worry, you're looking at all of the things and trying to figure things out. So your brain is working in overdrive, you're overthinking, you get confused, and you can't zero in on the clarity. So what happens is you're building this business and you do it by offering multiple things because you want to maximize your profits. But what you're really doing is minimizing your energy. You are really setting yourself up to burn down or burn out. Now, this seems, well, no, it doesn't. It seems like it makes sense when you go into it, but then when you get into it, you can't tell why and what's not working because it looks like this is what everyone does. And you think they're not burned down on the back end. But let me just tell you, they are. And I know this because I burned out twice in the first 2 years of business. I had a double launch in August. And then I did a coaching launch right after that, and I was burned out. I was done. I actually was ready to kill my business, cut it off, chuck it. I had to step back. Thank God I had so much income coming in because I did have recurring income. But this is what happens behind the scenes. And it was like, this is just not working. This is not it. And so then I had a coach and, she was like, you just need to go high end. You need to sell things for 50K. And I was like, okay, that's great. I'll do that. Right. And that's easier than it sounds, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Right. And so I did that and I didn't like it. So I was always ping ponging between it has to be this or it has to be that. And then I would always create things to make up the middle mass of money that I wanted in the meantime. And I got tired of this. And then at one point, I stepped back and I was like, this is not working. So whatever of this is resonating with you, let me know. But I was like, this is not working. This is not even close to working. And I had a program that I just never realized. I never realized how genius it was when I ran it. And this program allowed me to maximize my profits. And that was the one thing I was really good at doing because I always had a small list. I always had a small audience. I always had very little reach, even in an algorithm that was working for me. But I managed to maximize a small audience with big profits. And that's exactly what this program did. It set me up to do that. And I didn't even realize what it was doing and how sophisticated it was in the beginning. But it was the most beautiful thing because I served many, many people at once, right? Like I've mentioned before how I've had 30 plus clients at any single time. Most people look at their calendar and they go 30 plus clients at any single time would kill me. I wouldn't have room for them. That's more than 30 hours a week, right? And it is the way most gurus will have you structure that. But what I did was entirely different. And this model that I used, it was back in 2017, 2018. I kept refining it and I kept like putting more sophistication into it and more elegance and more space to create bigger profits. And I called it something else at the time, which now the entire industry is using the word, so I don't want to use it. But what I refer to this is a dynamic model, right? So we have a lot of business models out there. We have like course creators and we have coaches and we have service providers and we have digital products and we have masterminds and we have group coaching and we have one-on-one coaching and we have small pod coaching. There's so many things out there, right? And in those spaces, we do mentorship, which I covered in another training. We do mentorship, right? We teach someone to do what we know how to do. And we do consulting. I'm going to tell you what to do, tell you how to make this work. And we do coaching. I'm going to pull the greatness out of you and show you what's there so you can decide what you really want, right? And the problem with all of those is the person that is showing you and taking you through that process has to know what you want your business to look like in 10 years, what you want your business to look at 500,000, what you want your business to look like at 7 figures. Remember, because at the beginning of this call, we didn't make the plans for that. We didn't set ourselves up so that we could seamlessly scale from 0 to 7 figures. Because what most people do is they try all the things on the way to 7 figures, and that works, but it will wear you out, and most people will get out of the game before they hit 7 figures. So as I sat with this model and I sat with it, and then I put it away and I would bring it out and I would put it away and I would bring it out. And over the last couple of years, I really started leaning into it more, right? This dynamic model. And it was about 2 years ago that I went all in on it. And what this allowed me to do was to maximize my profits, the same way I had always done that from a small audience. But what happens is people bought from me more, because remember, people who buy are going to buy more. So our job is to sell more, because buyers are buying every day. The problem with the reason the business isn't making money is we're not making offers every day because we have limited resources. We are one person. We have limited energy. We have limited time. So people don't make offers every day because it scares them. And they know there's a ceiling to what they can do. So the other objective is to sell one thing and make the offer on it every day. But remember, we get bored of that and we lose the nuance and it becomes dilute. And so the way that I structure a dynamic business model is that you have to be able to sell to people where they are. So this does something, right? The great thing about my business model at this point is I don't have to hear I can't afford it. I have something at every point in my business that someone can afford, whether you want to give me like $30 or $100,000. Because the other problem with a business is that if you take all of the offers you have in your funnel, do you have a funnel? Take all of the offers you have in your funnel, add them up. If somebody was to buy every single thing you had, that is the lifetime value expectation that you could get from one person. So when I understood that, which is where the dynamic model came from, I made that work in my favor. You see, not everybody wants to pay me $100,000. Not everyone needs to pay me $100,000. Most people who are starting their business, they need the steps to get there. Just like you, just like everybody else at this level, you are very smart, you are very driven, you know what you are doing. You just need someone to give you the puzzle pieces and show you where they go. It's like a paint by numbers thing, right? And this is what I would call mentorship. But really, mentorship and coaching and consulting and advising are all just tools. They're tools. And when we treat them as tools, instead of making them an identity of who we are, then we can serve more people through those tools. And what happens with a dynamic business model is you move into a space where you have this entire funnel. And people could literally pay me this day, today, $1 million by buying everything. And that's what makes my business different. Most people do not have their business set up so that they could collect $1 million from anyone. Do you have your business set up? Drop in the comments. Do you have your business set up so if somebody bought every single thing in your catalog, every single thing in your funnel, they would pay you $1 million? Because most of the time, it's just a matter of having the offer there. But remember, you have to fulfill on the offer. So depending on how many offers you have and how they're structured is going to depend on if you can fulfill this. And then you have to weigh that against your burnout, your energy resources, your caps. You have caps. You are a human. Unfortunately, we're all human, no matter how. I love it. We all think we're so high performance. We are like, we're all so ambitious. We're all so high performance. We're all so gung ho. We're also like, this is going to happen. We're going to get it done. And we're all limited by our human. So within a dynamic model, what you do is you take all of the products and you make sure that they have the highest LTV, lifetime value of a client. I have people, just like I said yesterday, I have people that say they've been buying from me for 14 years. But really, I have people who have been buying from me from day one, still buying from me. And that's where the relationship is developed. It's not developed so they buy. People don't have to know me. People don't have to buy a relationship with me. They don't have to buy into that relationship to buy in with me. That's another part of making a dynamic business model work. I meet people where they are. I solve their problems. I make offers. Now, it doesn't sound so different than any other business model, but it's highly sophisticated, highly elegant, and it allows me to only work. Remember when I started this, I only worked 6 hours a day. That's all I would work, 6 hours a day. Now I'm down to 4 hours. Could it be less? Absolutely. But we're like totally rehauling everything on my back end, rebuilding funnels and redoing things, right? So I do have parts of my business that are passive. I do have parts of my business that are active. And then I do have parts of my business that are involved with other people's businesses, right? So that's the best way to say that. So I'm at my max capacity. I don't want to work more than 4 hours a day because my kid goes to school 8 o'clock. So by the time somebody takes her to school, gets home 9 o'clock, and then she gets out at 3 o'clock. So somebody has to leave here at 2:30, right? I like to eat lunch. I like to eat breakfast. I like to shower. I like to work out. I like to hang out with my husband. You know, when you have a kid at home, the only time you can really have like sexy time is when your kid is at school, because God forbid you should kiss or act like you're in love when you have a 17-year-old in the house. Because let me tell you, they're so disgusted. And no matter how many times you remind them that this is why we are still together and not divorced, or like, hey, like, you're lucky we still love each other, they don't care. They're just grossed out by you. So, right, I refuse to work more than 4 hours. And a lot of days, I don't even work 4 hours. I am able to serve my highest end clients. I'm able to meet my clients where they are. And I'm able to build a thriving business. Now, how many of you would like to build a business in 4 to 6 hours a day? Just drop 4 to 6 in the comments. Because now I'm going to ask you how many hours a day you are spending on your business. Is it 10? Is it 8? Is it 4 to, okay, 4 to 6. I love that. Right? So when we look at our business, we have to look at our business from the perspective of the income that we have, the amount of recurring income, and the hours we are putting into it. Because those three things tell a story. And when I look at someone's business, the story those tell me is the level of hustle, the longevity of that business, and the health of that business. I literally just had somebody reach out to me. So sad. So yesterday, a girl that I've known for almost 30 years, she got into the same space, right? The online business space. Same time I did, right? She actually was very, very successful as a blogger and a foodie. Very, very, very successful. Except she wasn't making money. Here's the interesting thing. I don't know if people would really call me successful. I take up a very small portion of the influencer stage, right? Like, I don't even think I make it to the influencer stage. But remember, I'm not trying to get famous. I'm trying to get rich doing what I love, making other people rich with me. Very important. She was doing it the other way. She thought to make money, you had to get famous. So she spent, and she had to have a job the entire time. I did not. I worked full-time in my business from 2014 on. She thought you had to do it the other way, right? So she chased fame, thinking that that would bring her money and clients and everything else that went with it, but it doesn't work that way. As we see from all of the influencers dancing their asses off on TikTok, and all of the people spending all of their time making videos and editing them and worrying to like next year and back over their YouTube thumbnails, right? But the simple and sophisticated way to build a business is through buyers. When you start building your business with buyers, remember, not freebie hoppers, with buyers, you start making money from day one. That is it. And that's exactly what I did. Now, Do I offer free things? Yes, we are offering free things because we are using them in very strategic things, very strategic ways, but it's not a daily thing. I don't stress myself out. We're talking about 2 to 4 hours a month of free things that are maximizing what we're doing. And we're testing this, right? So like I'm always testing things in my business. I'm the big test. Just call me the petri dish of testing, right? I'm always testing everything. And we're testing price points and we're testing marketability and we're testing maximization because my entire business philosophy is centered around big profits with small audiences, maximum income with minimum effort. That doesn't mean you skimp on results. It doesn't mean you skimp on impact. Ask anyone who has worked with me, they will tell you. I mean, my results speak for themselves because I have hundreds of people. They say what is that thing that guy says, like an audience when you have is it 100 fans or 1,000 fans? What is it? 100 true fans, right? So when you have 100 true fans, that's when you like can do it. I've had 100 true fans since my first year in business. And that's what makes all the difference because those 100 true fans were buyers. And every year I get more and more of them. Now, do some fall off? Do some like eventually run out of my funnel and out of my system and fall off and go their own way? Absolutely. But I still keep a portion of them. So those 100 true fans just keep growing and growing. I can put an offer out and it's going to sell. And it's because of how I have structured it, right? So when you are looking at your business, you are probably not maximizing the number of people that you can serve. And you are probably, even if you are maximizing it, right? Like you're trying to do this for recurring income, but that's what burns you out. That's what runs you out. So when you are maximizing your business for the people you can serve, you have yourself going in many, many different ways. I don't. I have a very simple business model because of the impact I want to make, because it is a dynamic business model. It is not your usual business model. People get inside the back of my programs or coaching with me or even in my business, right? Like my coach was literally in the back end of my business and he was like, and look, he's 77,000 every 3 months. It's insane. He is like, this is so beautiful. And I was like, yeah, it is, right? Because there is leverage built into it. Now, we covered this in the beginning of the call. What is leverage? The ability to make big, I'm not saying this right. The ability to like pull a big lever and have a big outcome with small input, right? So I have leverage built into my business. I have scale built into my business. And if you are not building the right kind of business, if you are making those new courses every month, if you are making new offers every month, if you are putting yourself out there in new ways, you have to come up with the marketing. You have to come up with, you are starting from scratch every single month. Even if you kind of know the marketing, you have to dial that marketing in or you are not reaching that right customer. And this will make more of your previous buyers buy, but it's not necessarily going to lock them into you so that they can buy the really higher price things. Because that's where I see a lot of people when they are doing all the things, they cannot get the people into the higher priced items. They can't get people into the higher ticket. Let me know if that's you. Let me know if high ticket is where you haven't been able to get people into. And it's because you are focused on these things to create and sell every month. So sometimes you might do something similar and you think I'm always serving the same person, but in reality, you're not, because different people are buying that offer. If you were serving the same person every month, that person would be coming back and buying more. Because what did I say yesterday? Every single time you solve a problem for someone, Every time you give someone a solution, a new problem is created. And so what this does is create compound sales, creates compound buyers. Some people have even said to me, Sherry, like, I don't ever want you to tell me how much I have spent with you in the last 8 years, in the last 6 years, in the last 10 years. They're like, I don't even want to know. It's insane when I think about it. And I'm like, you probably don't want to know, right? Because very few people come into my world and get one and done. Now, it does happen. Of course it happens. But it's not my goal. And it's not how I'm building and operating my business. Did I do it that way? Yes, I did it that way. I used to think that I loved that. I was the churn and burn queen. And I churned and burned myself out. Now, so when you are in a dynamic business model, you maximize everything. And you don't start at the top. You don't start by offering 25,000. You start with the easiest people to reach. And you make it so extraordinarily easy for them to say yes to you that they feel dumb if they don't. I know, I've said it. I have had people do this to me. I mean, the sale that what I bought from the woman the other day, I literally was like, if I don't buy this, I'm dumb. And then she made a new offer and I was like, this sucks because I want everything, but I'm going to pace myself here because I don't know this woman. Like I've now known her 4 days, 4 days of my entire life, right? And I've already made my mind up when I'm going to upgrade. So like, that's already a done deal. But so I'm playing this game with myself where I'm like, this is the day I'm going to sit and stay here and I'm going to implement the first part of the process that she has given me so that on this day it's done and I can upgrade and I will be where I need to be, right? But what happens is most people go around chasing things. You're chasing every influencer out. You're chasing every coach. You're chasing every person who you think has the solution. But you're not getting the result and your business isn't growing like you want it to. So when that happens, you have to look at the structure of your business. And yes, at some points that is you. But when you are building to 6 figures, the first 6 figures are the how of business, right? It's the how of business. So this is why mentorship is how I work with people when they are in the first six figures. I tell you what to do. I give you the process. I show you what it looks like. Because you are not at the place where you need to become the who. Who happens at 7 figures? And this is something a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand. We hear this all the time, right? Like who you are being is the thing, right? Yes, who you are being is the thing. But I trust because you're a high performer. I trust because you're ambitious. I trust because you know what you are doing. You can go very far on that. You can get to 300,000 with very few personal changes. The changes you need from where you are to 6 figures is commitment. That's really it. And you need someone to say, look, if you want to get to 7 figures, you have to start here. You have to do these steps. Here are these steps. Will you do them? Do you want to do them? Because think of it. How many times have you sat there and go, I wish somebody would just tell me the damn thing. Somebody would give me the blueprint. Somebody would give me the step-by-step, the paint by number. I could do it if somebody told me how to do it, why I was doing that, and where this was going to go. Because at this point, most people are chasing the money to make the month. But you have to think bigger than that. You have to think the ultimate end goal. Now, not everybody wants 7 figures. I admit that, right? I have some people that only want 300,000. I have people that want 500,000. You can live an extraordinary life on 300,000. That's almost 30,000 a month. That's a beautiful sweet spot. There is so much freedom there. Because I remember the day that I was like, if I had to build 7 figures the way I did before, again, I don't want it. Now, at that point, I hadn't perfected this type of business. I had dipped my toes in and out of it, and every coach and every guru and their mother told me that that would not work, that it was not the way to do it. It wasn't the way they would do it. Because in this business, the churn and burn, the burning yourself out, the hustling, the grinding, the harder, pushing, forcing, doing everything, sacrificing everything is what we're taught. I was very fortunate to work very few hours and make that money. Most people don't work 6 hours a day and get to 7 figures. So when you are doing this, you have to start at the bottom and build that structure. And you want to build monthly recurring income into that. And you want to serve as many clients as you can. And you want to make the offer different so that it reaches the right people at the right time for the right problem and the right solution so that they will work with you. And this is what a dynamic business does. So very simply, I have an offer that I can now not pull up for you. I have an offer that I can now not pull up for you because it's on my other computer. So let me see if I can do this. La, la, la. How funny am I? All right, so. And I will take any questions after this. Funny, funny, funny. I know somebody's going to be like, if she was the real deal, she wouldn't have this stuff. She would already be prepared. I hear it all the time. But you know what? This is business. This is my level of relaxed. I'm going to find it. Maybe I'm going to find it. Maybe I'm going to find. Wait, I can't even share my screen on here. It never lets me. Okay. Once again, we have the screen problem. Why does it do this? All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you what the offer is. It's called BANK, the Profit and Freedom Formula. This uses my social ATM method for 10K months. Your goal at this moment is, your responsibility at this moment is to get your business from 0 to 10K. Ha, here's the other computer. I knew I had it. I just can't get it on that computer. So I'm going to go through this real quick. I'm going to give you the high level structure. If you want the actual document, you can just reach out to me and let me know that you are interested and we will get it to you. I know I've already got some people who have been asking about it. So quite wonderful. All right. Here we go. Yay for the computer being up. Okay, so the social ATM method to 10K months in 2025, because 2025 is not the same as 2020. It's not even the same as 2024, right? Things have changed so much due to the sophistication of the marketplace. So what we are going to do is create your own profit producing freedom formula in your business. We're going to install this so that it works for you, so that you can maximize profits and minimize your effort. This means if you have a job, you can still keep your job. And this means if you don't, you can actually start enjoying your life and your business the way you always wanted to when you started it, right? So we're going to eliminate the mom guilt, the stress, the hustle, the sacrifice, and burning out because you're tired of wasting time and throwing spaghetti at the wall. And you're going to bank so that you can have the freedom. I just love the name banked. I don't know. So what we're going to do over the next 12 months, yes, this is 12 months because your business is currently not set up to do this. So there's installations, there's integrations that need to happen, implementation, right? A lot of eyes, all kinds of eyes. So we're going to get your best banked offer. This is going to be your dynamic business model with your best offer in it to serve your best, highest level clients, because we want to have that highest level income baked into our business easily and effortlessly. Even if there is only 3% of them, we want to make sure we're not leaving them on the table. We want to bring them into our fold and make sure we are getting to serve them and impact them. And along with that, We're not going to go back to the drawing board every month just to figure things out and stay and hustle so that we can serve all the people. We're going to start serving our highest level clients. And from there, we're going to bring in the people who need us, and we're going to meet them where they need us. This is going to keep you out of the hustle, and it's going to produce easy yes sales, because when sales are easy yeses, you don't get the ick. In fact, you like selling. This is going to allow you to sell every day. We're going to create the cash flow system. And when you install this, you get out of feast and famine mode because of the dynamic business model. So this creates the monthly recurring income that you currently don't have. This puts your nerves at ease. And when you have monthly recurring income, just think about that right now. Think about it. Like next month, you have 3,000 coming in. The month after that, you have 5,000 coming in. Before you even do anything. That puts your nerves at ease. That gives you space. That gives you freedom. And most of the reason that you are burning out or struggling and spinning your wheels is because not only are you doing all these things, you're doing them with a nervous system that is fried. You're in anxiety, you're in worry, you're in burnout, you're in all of these emotions that take energy. We're going to reallocate that energy back into your body. It'll feel good. Your immune system's going to get better. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy, more power, more life force, because you're not going to be spending it on things that you don't have a choice to pull back into you and turn into power. When you have the income to make things easier and effortless, and you know you'll have money coming in because people are happy to pay you this, people are very happy that they pay me every month, then your nerves are going to be easy. And this is going to be like where the money blocks are, right? Like you're not going to have money blocks because the money is coming in. Most people have money blocks because they don't know a way to get the money in, so they translate that into money blocks. So the cash flow system is going to install that. This gets buyers buying from you and making sales exciting and fun. So it eliminates the ick of selling. And then my favorite is the social ATM method. This is like, this is like, I love Facebook, and everybody's like, I hate it. I hate it. Great. Hate Facebook. It has made me so many millions of dollars that like, this is my favorite name for a program I've ever done. And it's called the social ATM method. So love it or hate it, social makes bank. Everyone's like, oh, I want to leave social. Great. Don't. Nobody is buying anything on the street corner worth $1,000. So when you install this, you have no more guessing, right? This is like the perfect person, reaching them with a perfect message, reaching them with a perfect offer, reaching them with a perfect price point when they have that problem, and positioning yourself as the expert. So it's no more throwing spaghetti at the wall, no more showing up, hoping, wishing, and praying to make sales. No more wasted energy on just being visible for the sake of visibility's sake. And this is my exact formula that has allowed me to show up on social media when I feel like it and make sales up to $60,000, right? Working 6 hours a day or less. And it's way less now. Like today, I actually didn't get to work until I started here because my daughter had a thing. We had like a whole problem this morning. She wasn't feeling good, and like, you know, she needed my attention. So like that happens. But you don't have to stress about that when you have a dynamic business model. I don't have mom guilt. I'm there for every moment now. Probably annoyingly so. All the moments that I missed when I was building my business, and I kept saying, someday I'll make up for it. When I'm making the money, I will make up for it, and it will end. I will make up for it. It'll just be okay. And I kept moving the mile marker, and it never came because someday never comes, right? And I was lying to myself. I eventually had to quit lying to myself and say, Sherry, like, unless you do something drastically different, nothing is going to be drastically different. So together, we will not only get cash flowing and moving consistently over the next 12 months, but I'm going to share with you my exact method for how I created six-figure days, weeks, and months so you can bank in business. In phase 1, we're going to get you solving the right problem for the right people at the right time, in a way that serves you and your highest level clients. In phase 2, we're going to double down and maximize profits because I love maximizing profits. I don't want to leave any money on the table. Not one penny. I don't care. I don't want to leave one penny on the table. Because if you leave people on the table, if you leave their money on the table, You're doing them a disservice. This isn't about me being greedy. This is about people who are out there actively wanting what I have. And if I don't show up and get in front of them, I'm making their life harder. I'm not serving people. And if I claim that I'm here to serve people, I better get my ass out there and serve people. Phase 3 is where everything gets refined and dialed into perfection, right? This allows you to have a business that serves you around your lifestyle. That's the important part, around your lifestyle. I used to not be able to go on vacation. I would stress. I would think about my business. I would freak out. I couldn't relax. I am so relaxed now. I'm like, oh, I should probably look in on my people and see how life is going. So relaxed. And everyone's like, yeah, we're fine. We're doing great. We know we can get a hold of you whenever we need. Perfect. Like, it's so much easier than it was. When we dial this into perfection, it's going to allow you to have a business that serves you around your lifestyle and sets the foundation of scale. Now, remember at the beginning of the call, I said scale is where you are going. Most people don't build a business for scale. And when they don't build a business for scale, they hit a point where they're like, this isn't working. And they have to tear it down and start over because they haven't built correctly. When you use this method, you're going to build correctly. You're going to build the business for scale. You're going to move into a place where you can grow your business beyond 6 figures, where you can grow it beyond 300,000, where you can grow it beyond 500,000. If 7 figures is your goal, like, hey, go for it. Go for it. You're not going to have to tear it down and start over. So the investment for banked is the pay as you profit method. Now, the pay as you profit method is an entirely different system, right? Remember I said you're going to have recurring income? Well, right now, because this specific program is in a specific phase, I'm going to make an offer that is insane. Now, normally, this pay-as-you-profit method allows you to jump in and get going while you are learning and earning, making it insanely easy to get started, and you'll be grandfathered in. And so why this works is because your profits are compounded over time. Why the entire bank system works, the social ATM method to get to 10K months works, is because your profits are compounded over time for recurring revenue. That means you continue to grow in scale without having to burn yourself out. And honestly, that's where people fail. You don't have a way to maximize profits on your offers, and you can't build recurring income that doesn't wear you out. The beautiful part about the ATM social 10K, the whole banked profit and freedom formula, is the fact that you don't have to market. It's going to get you out of marketing. So you don't have to continuously learn, like, oh my God, how do I have to say this? What is the copywriting for this? What is that? What is this? Right? You learn a very minimal amount, very minimal. Most of it you probably know. I'm going to show you how to structure it to make it work better. And that's it. It's a structure to make it work better. And once you learn it, that's it. You don't have to continue to learn all the things to build a business. Remember the training where I said, like, there's 52 things you have to learn to build a business. There's like copywriting, there's email, there's this. All of that's eliminated. All of that's sophisticated. All of that is off the table. We're going to make this as sophisticated and simple as possible. So you don't have to actually run your business the way the gurus say. You don't have to learn all the things. Wouldn't it be nice to just go out there and do the thing that you're an expert in? And that's where you're going to spend 80% of your time to 90% of your time, because you want to serve clients, and this process makes that possible. And actually, because the more I went into marketing, the harder my business got. I'm going to do my best to keep you out of the framework of marketing, and you should too, right? Like, the framework of marketing is not where you want to start leaning into. It's not where you want to spend your time, because nobody wants to learn to be a marketer on top of being an expert. So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get twice monthly workshops with coaching and mentorship, right? So what's going to happen is when you have those, you're going to actually get exactly what you need You're going to be able to ask the questions you need. You're going to go and implement those things because you have 2 weeks in between. These are twice monthly workshops, implementation workshops. That means you are installing these things into your business. This is the mentorship. I show you what to do, how to do it, where it works, why it works. And it's very strategic, right? Now, all of the things that make you magical and you and your business you, we keep those. This is the underlying structure. It can be configured to what you need it to be for your lifestyle and your business. And that's the beautiful part of it. So the pay-as-you-profit investment is very simple. It's just $100 a week. And after the first 12 weeks, at this point, that could change. You have the option to stay or go. This isn't a prison sentence. Like, nobody is forcing you to stay here, right? But your $100 rate is locked in for you and it won't change. So we also have a pay in full founders edition. And when you choose to invest in full, you can choose 3 gifts. You will get a live call with me where we go through the irresistible offer that is going to be the dynamic offer in your business, in your dynamic business, right? All of this needs to be figured out. You can have that. The second one is the endless leads with built-in profit producing process. This is the solution to filling the sales pipeline and organic leads that work. I talk about this, like, people think that they have a money problem. They probably have a leads problem. We talked about this yesterday. And the third gift that you can choose from is the organic group growth for 6-figure sales system. And this is literally the thing that, like, I would have a 6-figure week easily, 6-figure month easily, right? And so this is a very simple and sophisticated process. It's going to be around because the things that I do are based on psychology and based on economics. You see, with a background in international business, with a background in psychology, with all the stupid accounting classes I had to take, in economics classes, I understand economics. And most businesses aren't maximized for economics. Most businesses are maximized to burn you out. Now, I think we can all look at me and see I'm not burned out. I'm pretty damn relaxed. I don't put stress in my life. And thank God, because there's no space for it. I have no tolerance for it. So the reason this business model isn't going anywhere is it's been around since the first time I ran it, the first iteration. Every time I started doing it more, it worked better. Every time I iterated again, I found the refinements that made it work. Every time I moved deeper into it, the results got better. And that's what happens. Now, in this space, you have to commit to where you want to go. You have to commit to the results you're going to get. You have to commit to how easy you can let it be. Because as people, we love to make things stupid complex. We love for things to be hard so we can wear that badge of honor. I am not the person for you. I do not want anything hard in my life. Well, never mind. We're not talking about that. I don't want anything hard in my business, right? So you're going to have to make a choice. You can keep doing things the way you've been, or you can lean into what you really want. So at this point, you should reach out to me. I will get you the document and we can chat. I can answer any questions you have. And that's it. So if you want to know more, if you are ready to maximize your profits with a small audience, get your time and freedom back and bank for the profit and freedom formula using the social ATM method for 10K months in 2025? Comment below, reach out to me. Let's get you this. All right.